Talladega Superspeedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona International Speedway, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles with steeper 33-degree banking, which guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969 was a stunning 199.466 miles per hour, almost 30 miles per hour faster than Indy cars were then lapping at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant that Bill Elliott's 212.809 mile per hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record at Talladega and for NASCAR. Talladega is still the fastest track on the schedule. It holds the record for the fastest 500-mile stock car race at 188.35 miles per hour, Mark Martin's winning speed in May of 1997, and produces some of the most exciting door-to-door action every year. Talladega puts on 5 separate race events each year as host to the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, Craftsman Trucks, and the ARCA Series. But tonight, it's race number 4 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway for Race 4, Season 10 of the VRL, Vigilante Racing League. Race details for tonight: 94 laps the race distance, 73-degree ambient temperature, 84% humidity. Overcast skies here today. Don't expect to see too much sunshine. 8-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature with that cloud cover about 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers have a 70% fuel load tonight and unlimited tire changes, which, again, at a place like Talladega, I don't expect that to really factor in too much, at least as far as tires are concerned. No fast repairs, so keep that in mind in one attempt at a green-white checkered finish if so needed. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Fast times thus far, the 6. Trevor Robertson, top of the board. Then it's Larry Dickerson, Dobson, Gallagher, and Everidge are top 5. Get all these times you see in the corner there in the tower, 48.192. That's the lap time to get around here at 2.66 miles. That is in the draft. You will not see anything near that in qualifying, which we'll get into momentarily. Taking a look further, though, going forward here, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is in the books. Talladega is going to be in the books after this evening. Next week, though, Watkins Glen International. We're going to be going left and right on the twists and turns at the Glen. Unfortunately, I am traveling next week, so I will not be able to cover that for you guys. But I'll be back 1st of January, Auto Club Speedway. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Bunch of stream chatters already. Both the Andersons, Albert and Albert, of course. Lori Vaught jumping in. Hello, VRL family and friends. Hello back to you, Lori. Albert Anderson made a good point early on, too. He says, hello, friends and family. Thank you all for coming out to watch the race tonight. Please click the like and subscribe button so we can reach 1,000 subscribers. We're close. I hope you enjoy the race. I couldn't have said it any better myself, Albert. I mean, that was just perfect. But he makes a good point. I think we're sitting on 942 followers, subscribers, however you want to classify it. We're trying to crack that 1,000 mark. I don't know. We may get there by year's end. We're getting close. It's already the 11th here. We're running out of time. But I'd be okay. If it was first quarter of 2025, I'd be happy with that, too. But again, if you haven't already done it, go ahead and click that button. Just make sure that you haven't already done it, because we've talked about this in the past too, is if you have already done this, if you've already clicked the subscribe button and then you click it again, you're effectively unsubscribing. We have seen that happen too. A few weeks ago, I asked the guys to click the buttons, and all of a sudden I had like 6 less subscribers, so it was not a good thing. I think we got them all back though, but just double check that. Fuel window tonight between 22 and 26 laps. It's all going to depend on draft, how aggressive you want to be, how much throttle you're going to use. If you're out in front as the race leader, you're going to use a whole lot more fuel because you're punching the hole in the air for the rest of the pack. And just like that, practice is over. We'll get right into qualifying. Qualifying session, 2 laps, 10 minutes. Whatever comes first. See who rolls first. Looks like Dylan Bryant might be the first to head on out. Well, Bryant sits at the end of pit lane here. He's not necessarily rolling yet. We'll check with John Gallagher. He's made his way to the racetrack. Just want to make note to any new viewers here tonight. You see they're in the Gen 6 Cup car this evening, but then they're going to be in the trucks next week. They kind of float around here in this season that's an off-season in between the actual Cup Series real-life schedule. They kind of fill the gaps here from November to February with another season, but they mix it up a bit. Usually running trucks all the time, but they kind of splash in the Gen 6 here in Season 10. It's kind of neat. John Gallagher through the trial. We see the start-finish line just at pit out. It's not the same as it is at Daytona, where it's right smack dab in the middle of the tri-oval, so it is further down the racetrack. And we lost John for a minute. And we got him back. So lap 1 in the books for Gallagher. Crosses the line 53.010. Meanwhile, Dylan Bryant, top of the board on his first lap of 52.664. John Osborne knocks him off now just as quick. Chris Klein does. Then it's Jack Dixon, and then Ricky Wittenberg goes to the point. These are all first laps. No, these are second laps, it looks like. No, first lap. So Bryant back to 6. We'll see if he picks up big time here on lap number 2. Bryant back to the line here, crosses the stripe. Does he pick up? No, slows down actually, 52.777. Meanwhile, Jeremiah Burke tops the charts now with a 52.539. Got Joe Canellis on the track. His Eagle 1, number 11. Jeremiah Burke still top time. Canellis goes P4 with a 52.569. That's his first lap. Now we saw Dylan Bryant actually slowed down on his second lap. We'll see if Canellis can pick it up a little bit. The only real rhyme or reason to that, I know years past, it always used to be that first lap was a throwaway, try to build up that momentum. So it takes almost a whole lap, if not more than a whole lap, to get these cars up to full speed. The other side of that coin, though, is you're driving around this racetrack, friction creates heat, heat increases tire pressure, and increase in tire pressure increases the circumference of that tire, which in essence raises the overall ride height of the race car. Effectively, the most important part really is it raises up that big rear spoiler you see sticking up in the air in the back of that race car, and that adds drag, which reduces speed. See if Canellis picks up, though, crosses the line. He does not. He slows down quite a bit as well, almost 2/10. Craig Goodenough in the number 89, way up the racetrack. Some would say it's too close to the outside wall there. A lot of guys like to straddle that top dotted line. You get too close to the safer barrier, you actually build up enough drag, it will slow the car down a little bit. Craig Doe across the stripe here. Let's see if he can throw down a fast lap. Meanwhile, Burke loses the pole as the 023 of Scott Roney jumps to the top spot. 52.511 for Scott Roney. Jack Dixon says, Lori says Canadian snacks are better than American ones. I mean, I like ketchup chips. I don't think we even get them down here, but they are mighty tasty. Goodenough crosses the line 21st, 52.678. That might just be attributed to what I was talking about there on that out lap. He was right up against the safer barrier. Don't know if he actually made contact with it or not, but it was scrubbing speed nonetheless. You get a little pocket of air between the race car and the wall, and if you get too close, it really has nowhere to go, and it actually increases the wind resistance on the nose of the race car. It's been demonstrated by some setup guys with different dyno systems that they have to watch and look at the aero and what it does. Didn't realize that stuff was even out there for iRacing, but it does exist. 6 quick for Anderson, first lap, 52.570. Top 10 drivers, all with a 52.5 and change. Just gives you an idea of how close these race cars are, how close the setups are. Handful of drivers have yet to make an attempt. That's Russ Kilgore, Larry Dickerson, Timothy Pope, John McAdam, and Mike Everidge. Chandler Paul also yet to turn a lap in this session. Anderson back to start finish here. He's going to cross the stripe. Does he pick up on lap 2? No, slows down again. About a tenth and a half slower on that second lap. So lap 1 seems to be the money lap, which is kind of the opposite of what it used to be back in the day. But things change. That's okay. A couple of minutes officially left in the session. We'll kind of sweep things up here when we come back and look at our starting grid. But we're going to take a short break here. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, let's take a look at the starting grid for race number 4 of the VRL Vigilante Racing League. Yes, it's virtual. We're on iRacing. Either way, on the pole position with a lap time of 52.511, it's the 023 of Scott Roney. Outside front row with All-Star Racing, missed it by 27 thousandths of a second. It's the 53 of Jeremiah Burke. Row number 2, it's Ricky Wittenberg and Jack Dixon. Row 3, it'll be Joe Canellis and Albert Anderson. Row 4, Chris Klein and Alan Vaught. Row 5, Dustin Eaton in the 14 and Kyle Vaught in the number 16. 11th starter is Sean McDonald. 12th goes to Mike Adamson. Starting 13th, Jason Gaines. 14th goes to Jonathan Osborne. Dustin Wade will start in the 15th spot. Anthony Williams, 16th. 17th starter Greg Dobson. Kelly Kuhl rolls from the 18th position. Dylan Bryant, 19th. David Fite will start 20th. 21st starter is the 13 of Andrew Player. 22nd, Andrew Coffin. 23rd, John Gallagher. Craig Goodenough in the number 89 will start 24th. 25th starter is Dave Mayberry. Dion Jones, 26th. Trevor Robertson, 27th. Kevin Hunt, 28th. Greg Klein will start in the 29th starting position. 30th goes to Tim Pope in the 7th. 31st, Larry Dickerson. John McAdam will start 32nd. Mike Everidge, 33rd. Russ Kilgore, 34th. 35th starter and shotgun on the field is the number 72 of Chandler Paul. Your starting grid here from Talladega Super Speedway. Field on their only pace lap before we go green flag racing. 10 race details tonight. 94 laps the race distance, 250 miles on this 2.66 mile oval. The largest oval on the NASCAR schedule. Drivers with a 70% fuel load should mile between 22 and 26 laps, depending on how aggressive they get with fuel savings. Unlimited tire sets, no fast repairs. One attempt at a green-white checkered finish if it comes down to it. So Scott Roney in that black and green 023 machine, low lane. The outside lane will be the 53 of Jeremiah Burke in what, again, looks to be an old J.D. McDuffie throwback scheme. Pace car getting ready to head down pit lane. Again, they're not going to fire off right away. They got to get to that restart zone. And mind you, yet again here, if you're just joining us, remember that start-finish line not in the middle of the Tri Oval like it is at Daytona. It's more towards pit exit. There it is, green flag in the air and waving. We're underway from Talladega Super Speedway. Field into 3 and 4 for the first time today. Out of turn number 4, Roney continues to lead. Everybody minding their P's and Q's, just trying to get settled in here at Talladega Super Speedway. Want to see who they can work with, who they can draft with, who's a weapon, who's not. Roney leads lap number 1. Wittenberg now to the 2nd spot. Canellis 3rd. Burke has slipped back to 4th. Seems the outside line doesn't want to get going. Meanwhile, the 18 of Chris Klein to the bottom of the racetrack. 4th in line on the low side. Some drivers already stepping out here to go to the back intentionally. Looks to be the 88 of Mike Adamson. You see him there just below the yellow line into turn number 3. Just trying to get out of that hornet's nest. Can't say that I blame him. 10 dropping back as well. It's Andrew Coffin. Back out front, Roney continues to lead. 55 of Wittenberg there in his tire tracks. Kanellis third, Klein fourth, Eaton fifth. Jeremiah Burke continuing to slip back as they're 4 wide into turn 1 already. I don't think that was intentional or by design, but now they're still 3 wide with Burke in the middle. Burke rockets up the middle there, clears a couple of cars, maintains the 10th spot. Greg Dobson stepping on the line. He's going to drop in the back as well just to take care of the race car. Again, no faster pairs in this league, so you're going to see a lot of guys out there being real conservative, finding their P's and Q's, trying to keep all the fenders on the race car to be there at the end of this. And for league racing standards, this is a long race. 94 laps at Talladega. They're running about 49 seconds a lap, at least the last time by. Let's see where they are now. 49.38 previous. And they run it a little quicker, a tenth faster, 49.28 for Scott Roney. I won't go as far as to say it's an endurance race, but you still got to be there at the end. And that's what these guys are focused on right now, is taking care of the race car. Be a participant when this thing gets close to its final lap. And that's when you got to go. Keep a close eye on the white and blue and red Ford, the number 33 in the outside line. That's Alan Vaught working his way towards the front. Vaught started 8th, already cut those positions in half as he continues to shout and fight for some more. Up to the 3rd spot now, at least the nose in front of the 11 of Kanellis, working the outside lane. All of a sudden, the outside coming together. Only 3 cars tucked up, 1, 2, 3 there, trying to get it done. Here comes the 81 of Osborne. Sun trying to peek out here at Talladega Super Speedway. Down the back straightaway yet again. Roney's been the leader since the drop of the green flag, and a big push. Almost sent it to the garbage dump. That was close. Out in front, no. Alan Vaught to the outside. This is the battle for the race lead for the first time today. Alan Vaught in the Mobile 1, number 33, with help from the 16. That's also a Vaught. Kyle Vaught, that is. If you can't draft with family, who can you work with? Lori Vaught making a good point in the chat. 19 watching, only 8 liking it. Help us out, guys. If you're watching the stream, hit that like button. It helps us out quite a bit. Not just us. Helps the league, too, because it gets fresh eyeballs not only on the channel, but also this race. Now you can see we've got 2 distinct packs already. Oh, big-time crossover there by Kyle Vaught. Thought he was going to make contact with Roney. Was able to get clear, but now he's on the attack. Kyle Vaught going to the race lead and quickly gets out there. Now the 023 of Roney is pushing to 16. Not literally, but as far as drafting is concerned, figuratively. They'll start making bumper-to-bumper contact later in the race. You wait and see. Back at the stripe, though, looks like the Vaught and Vaught battle is won by Allen, and Kyle goes around. Kyle Vaught gets turned here just past start-finish. I don't know if he hit anything or not, but either way, significant track position lost, and without the caution coming out, he's going to be out there without any drafting help. He's going to be a lap down before you know it. So he goes from the front row to the back row just like that. Let's try and get a look, see exactly what happened just a moment ago. Scott Roney. Just too much aggression there, I think. A bit of a push. It looks like Vaught was able to get down there without hitting anything, but either way, it's going to be a tough one. So meanwhile, Alan Vaught out in front. Alan Vaught still out in front now. Kelly Kuhl jumps up into the second position. The 68 of Dustin Wade now third. Some new faces very quickly here at the front of the field. Don't know where Scott Roney ended up after that incident. Looks like outside the top 10. He runs 12th, has changed up to the outside lane. Don't know if that just broke his momentum or concentration, maybe a little bit of both, but he's regrouped. Just going to tuck in here the end of that lead pack. Now we've got three distinct packs. You've got the side-by-siders up front and the single filers in the back two rows, back two groups. Got Taylor Provax in the chat, says, great night for VRL Racing. Let's go 33, and the 16 will be back. Well, we're hoping so. He's running last, 35th position right now. He's 36 seconds behind the race leaders, which means they're about 13 seconds away from lapping him. Kyle's going to need a caution big time here, hopefully to keep him on the lead lap, or once he's down the lap, can hopefully cross his fingers there for the lucky dog. Still needs a caution for that as well, so he's got to cross those fingers here. Again, a relatively long race at 94 laps, so there's still opportunity. Certainly no sense of just packing it up and going home, but look at these two at the front of the field, Kelly Kuhl and Alan Vaught. Kuhl really pushing Alan with everything he's got, all over the back bumper of the 33. Real early for that kind of stuff, but if they're comfortable with it, they're comfortable with it. I wish I had the ability to show this to him. Looking at the lap times here on my timing and scoring, and the group being headed up by Jeremiah Burke here. Burke is back in the 10th spot. I don't know if that's just the outside lane or what the scenario is, but from 13th on back, about 10 cars there ran a full second's lap faster than everybody else ahead of them. Trick there is just to get lined up single files. We see Albert Anderson on a big time charge working towards the front. Chris Klein to the back bumper as well, but the 99 had a monster run up the gut between the 53 and it looks like the 72, Chandler Paul. Which, let's give a call to the 72 here. Remember, he started dead last tonight. He's already up to 12th. He's gained 22 positions in 13 laps. Chandler Paul on the move. Kelly Kuhl still pushing Alan Vaught here. This is at the front of the field. Vaught is the race leader, but now Albert Anderson jumps to the inside. He's looking for a piece of this as well. Further up ahead, you see the slow car in the top lane. That's Kyle Vaught. He's definitely going to lose a lap here. Lucky for the field, it looks like this is going to happen on the backstretch. You don't have to dodge him too terribly much. Got Kathy A in the chat. Good evening, everyone. Team Albert here. Meanwhile, Alan Vaught maintaining the top spot here. Albert Anderson with Chris Klein pushing. These guys have worked together in the past. They're familiar with one another. They can race like this. Trying to get the 99 out in the wind and in the lead. We didn't seem to think that outside line was going to be as strong as it is right now. We watched early on, the first handful of laps, the inside was dominant right off the get-go. That has changed considerably here. The outside has become a rather dominant lane right now. Got three cars to the inside, Anderson, Klein, and it looks like the 82 of Mike Everidge. They were bumper to bumper to bumper pushing almost a triple tandem, which is dangerous enough. You never want to push the pusher, but they still weren't able to get around the 33 of Alan Vaught. Lots of ponies underneath the hood of that Mobil 1 Ford. Let's see, we've got Verde in the chat asking about Kyle Vaught. I know Orion and I went there and filled us in on what exactly happened, but just to go back and recap here, this was about 10 laps ago. It was right around lap 7, crossing start finish. Here's the replay of it. 16, Kyle Vaught getting a push, and it was just a little off-center there, and in fact, Roney was just a tick below that yellow line, and that's why they don't want you to go below that line, because those are the types of things that happen. Kyle was lucky enough not to hit the wall, no damage to speak of, but now he's a lap down after losing the draft. Vaught doing a good job hanging out of that top spot, and Kelly Kuhl still pushing with all he's got. Seems very racy in behind the 33. Again, it's just a matter of time before something goes wrong with these two. I don't know how you can work like this and draft the way that they are all race long. Almost a moment there and almost a domino effect there. The 68 getting into the back of Kelly Kuhl after Kuhl checks up considerably after getting the 33 of Alan Vaught a little crossed up. Alan maintains the top spot for the time being, but Kuhl going right back after that back bumper. Anderson pokes his nose out into the race lead, but not quite enough to get clear of Alan Vaught. Chris Klein a few feet off the back bumper, needs to get tightened back up. Gone back to two distinct packs of racers here. They've gotten double file here at the front of the field. I think 2/3 of the field are out in front here in this first pack. Way back, there's another group of cars still just kind of cruising along, taking care of their stuff. You might think that they're just slow, they don't have the pace, but they're going to be the ones laughing when this one's over if all these guys up front end up in the big one and they all avoid it because they're just tailing back there, hanging out by the lonesome. John McAdam, the leader of this pack, and we've got, looks like 6-7 cars together. In theory, these guys could get nose to tail and draft their way back up to that lead pack. They really need to be organized, though. Nose to tail, from front to back in this 7-car draft, and they can really close some ground, but closest guys here at the 47 and the 67, or 69 that is. Can't really tell the number on that one. Maybe it's Larry Dickerson. Hard to see the number, but either way, if they get tightened up, they can reel these guys in. Everybody else in that pack, though, seems to be content being separate, and every lap they're losing ground. Back up front, more of the same. Kelly Cool wearing the paint off the back bumper of Alan Vought's Mustang. Both drivers come down to the low side, though, and they're clear of Albert Anderson. I don't know if that was just communicative between the two of them. Hey, let's get in front of the 99 here. He's looking a little racy. Let's slow that momentum down. But now it seems like Vaught and Cool are going to work the low side and see if they can make it as fast as up top. The numbers were starting to dwindle up top. Again, the more the merrier. So 23 laps in here at Talladega Super Speedway. I'm starting to expect some green flag pit stops here, either this lap or at least in the next few laps. We said 22 to 26, I think, was the window we'd expect to see some drivers come on down. It's really going to be dependent on the fuel strategy. I'm really surprised Alan Vaught hasn't already pit, given he's been out front for as long as he has. We'll see. Does he stay on the racetrack? Vaught stays out. One more lap. Lap 23 completed. Lap 24 goes up. Kelly Cool jumps out of line, and here comes the field. It's a land rush to pit lane. And we got some trouble there behind them. Some drivers coming together. Looks like they got themselves straightened back out. Chaos here on pit lane here. Green flag stops at lap 25. And the 53, Jeremiah Burke goes around, clips the left side of Albert Anderson. One other car hits the 53 en route to their pit box. A little bit of chaos here. Alan Vaught still in the box here. Is he going to take tires? He is. Or is he? No, 12.58 seconds. That might have been just fuel only. It's right at the end of that fuel window. So Vaught's going to be the first one out of pit lane. So that's going to give the race lead to the 68 of Dustin Wade, but they're going to pull off now. Here comes the second round of green flag stops. Chris Klein real hot coming in. The 29 goes around. Dave Mayberry having trouble on pit entry. So, green flag pit stops just about wrapped up here. We had one group, then another. Still one out there. Joe Canellis, he's going to come down now in that number 11 machine. He'll pit now. Does appear that he's the last driver to make that pit stop. A few drivers still sitting in the pit stalls here. I'm assuming they're getting dinged for either unsafe entry or speeding on entry. We'll look back through when we're all done here. That could be repair related as well. Hard to say. Really haven't had any cautions to speak of, though there was some damage received by these drivers as they got to pit lane. But again, we stay green. Yeah, Chris Klein got dinged for speeding, a 52-second stop. Same as Larry Dickerson. John McAdam might have been a similar circumstance. Canales finishes up his pit work. He's back out on the track, but back out in front now. It's Alan Vaught and Albert Anderson. Kelly Cool's lost some ground, quite a bit actually. Trying to find where Kelly ended up here. Kelly back in the 25th position. Kelly may have been involved in an incident in the pits. Not a bad stop at 12.4, but 8 seconds longer in the pits than most other drivers, so definitely something happening to him. Now you see the difference in the numbers that it makes. You see Alan Vaught now losing the lead as that 4-car draft reeled those guys in quickly. Osborne and Wade working their way around, and here comes David Feit in the 1. So John Osborne, your new race leader. Fought now back to 4th, and Anderson's dropped back a bit as well. I don't know if he's just trying to pick up a different drafting partner. Anderson goes 3 wide, Vaught to the top, and Feit in the middle. Chris Klein there after his penalty. He's going to go down a lap here pretty soon. May have already lost 1. But once again, we've got now 3 packs formed up. A big pack, of course, at the front of the field. Just like that, Albert Anderson back to the front here. First laps led this afternoon. Taking a peek here at Chris Klein, runs in the 30th position. Klein was low, jumps back up the racetrack. He's still technically on the lead lap, but that's not going to last more than the next 500-600 yards as Anderson and crew going to roll on by here with all the drafting help in the world. Klein's going to be able to hang on to this group once he gets past, but he's going to, again, need to get a caution here to get caught back up to the tail end of the lead lap. He's now 1 lap down just off that speeding penalty. We saw him lock up the tires on pit entry in that last stop. That's likely where he got it. Big push to Anderson, crosses him up just a bit from Wittenberg. Field back to the stripe here, 31 laps complete. Lap 32 goes up on the board. We're going to step aside here, get a side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, 36 laps up on the board here. Chris Klein at the front of the field, but not as the race leader. Drafted his way back through, took that top spot away to get his lap back. Still shown, I believe, back in about the 30th position. Yes, Chris Klein still running 30th. Albert Anderson, though, wisely going to stay in the tire tracks of the 51. It's not a position for him. He can just sit there and ride behind him and save fuel. So this kind of works out pretty well for him. I know he probably doesn't want to give Klein a lap back if the caution were to come back out, but he was in the lucky dog anyway, so he would have gotten it as it is. Anderson just going to take full advantage of the fuel strategy now. Want to remind everybody, Lori was paying attention. You got 27 watchers here on the stream, but only 8 thumbs up. So if you guys could, smash that like button, help us out. We certainly do appreciate it. And it's free to do. You don't get billed or anything. It's free. Anderson leading the 89 of Craig Goodenough. Third place is Dustin Eaton. Then it's Kevin Hunt and Ricky Wittenberg, but they're side-by-side for position. We'll watch the 55 right now. Just ahead of Alan Vaught. It's the 434 of Hunt gets clear. Kyle Vaught there back in the mix. Fortunately for Kyle's sake, though, still 31st. First car 1 lap down. So really, Chris Klein being at the front of the field helps in 2 ways. Klein would get the lap back if the caution comes out by way of just being the last car on the lead lap right now as he rides. But it would also keep Kyle Vaught in the lucky dog position. So Kyle would also get the wave around here on the 1 to go. But we're over a third distance here at Talladega and still no cautions, knock on wood. Alan Vaught quietly working his way back towards the front. Battling for the 3rd spot here with the 89 of Craig Goodenough. Now Wittenberg is going to jump out to the race lead. It's just the only time that having the lap car ahead of the leader could be a bit of a hindrance. The benefit here is that Klein does want to be on the lead lap, and as he runs right now, he is not. It's only that 1 car length, but Albert Anderson's going to have to push the 51 with everything he's got. Just getting a message from Lori Vaught on Channel 2 saying, "Don't jinx it." I'm not going to jinx it. That's why I knocked on wood. It's Talladega. We're going to have at least 1. Nothing we can do about it. So Ricky Wittenberg is taking over the top spot. Alan Vaught now 2nd, just in behind. Another car about to go a lap down just ahead, so that's going to throw another curveball into the mix. It's 82 of Mike Everidge. Average down 7+ laps, so it's not really going to affect the lucky dog positions for anybody. Somebody in the Orion I think that's what it is in the chat, says it's really nice to see how viable both lanes have been in this race, swaying back and forth for the lead. It didn't start out that way. We really thought, at least in the first few laps, that bottom lane was going to be the dominant place to be, but it doesn't seem to matter. We've seen Alan Vaught specifically be really fast up top, and then decided, let's see how it works down low, and it's worked both ways, so it's great to see. It certainly makes the racing better when there's more than 1 lane. Check out our pole sitter, Scott Roney. He is the lead car in this second pack, just crossing start-finish. They are a ways back from the leaders. About 5.3 seconds, and if you're going 200 miles an hour, that's about 5+ football fields from Roney to the race lead. John Gallagher pushing Roney with everything he's got. Roney's got his hands full in the cockpit. In fact, let's watch that for a minute. Watch Roney manhandle this race car. This is the driver's eye camera that we have built in. It's a little tiny camera that's built into the helmet of the driver. So this is about as close as it's going to get. If you're not an iRacing driver already, this is about what it's going to look like. Let's make some more room here and clear it up. That's what you see. Also depends on your seated position and how high or low you want to sit in the race car, but generally this is about what it looks like. Interestingly enough, we're starting to see these guys in this group start to get a little racy, but I don't know if that's really the greatest idea right now. These guys need to get single file and work together to catch that lead pack. You know, unless their strategy and their game plan here is just to run single file and just kind of race amongst the 6-8 cars until the big one happens in front of them. But if it doesn't happen, it's a wasted strategy. You know, I don't know. It reminds me of Denny Hamlin giving 70% this year. I think it was Talladega. It just didn't pan out. So far, the way this race is going, we're almost halfway. We may not see a caution. You never know. We got Orion I says, it is in fact Orion. All right. Thank you. I could use that for brand new leagues when I don't know anybody's last name. So now it's Trevor Robertson and Tim Pope, two lead cars in this 7-car group. Like I said, though, they've got to get nose to tail, just inches off the bumpers of everybody here, lined up like a freight train. And they can absolutely run down that lead pack. It's hard to break the racer. Meanwhile, back out front, 55 of Wittenberg still leading. Alan Vaught second, Anderson third, Goodenough fourth, Dustin Eaton runs fifth. Further on down, 6th place Kevin Hunt, Greg Klein 7th, 8th Andrew Player, John Osborne 9th, Dustin Wade rounding out the top 10. Verde in the chat making me laugh. Denny Hamlin, 1 podcast, no championships. He's not wrong. Alan Vaught all over the back bumper of Ricky Wittenberg. Some of these guys out front, they like to be aggressive, but it certainly seems like they're working with guys they're familiar with, comfortable pushing and being aggressive with. I know there's plenty of guys out there that you can beat the back bumper right off these things and they'll just keep it headed straight down the racetrack without any issues whatsoever. And then there's others that you think about hitting them and then they're backwards. Nice to see, though, that a lot of the netcode issues appear to have been addressed in this most recent update, because I think it was Monday night. Brand new league we're covering here. Pro Sim Racing Alliance. They had some pretty significant netcode issues. Granted, it was Daytona, not Talladega, but nevertheless. We had guys that were bump drafting that were losing engines just from the contact. So Ryan I makes another point here. He's got to love it. I give praise to both lanes before, and now we're single file for 10-plus cars. I think it's just a settling down period, honestly. Obviously, they've proven that they can jump out and go too wide and and get racy. We're going to see 3 wide, I think, before this one's all said and done, and we'll have to see if all 3 lanes can come into the picture. I think this is, all right, boys, we're halfway. We had a solid, clean first half. Let's keep it this way. And if you think about it, we're getting ready for another round of pit stops. So that could also be a main reason why these drivers are starting to get singled out. Because if you're in that outside lane and it's time to pit, well, it's kind of hard to do that when you've got someone to your left. And here we go, Wittenberg and everybody else. Just about everybody else is going to come on down. Alan Vaught sliding it a little bit, others as well. So Ricky Wittenberg into the pit box. Is he going to bolt tires or go fuel only yet again? Alan Vaught throwing some tires on. Right sides were up. Right sides only for the 33, it looks like. Might as well. You got to fill the thing full of fuel. You've got time to at least change rights without losing too much time. 13:58 was the stop for Allen. And Ricky Wittenberg went fuel only, and you see how close those two are after that stop. Second round of stops. Anderson's going to come down with Osborne, Wade, Chandler Paul, Jason Gaines, Jack Dixon. Second round of pit stops just about complete. And Anderson drops the jack. Chris Klein's going to follow him on out. Want to remind everybody, and I don't know if you've noticed or already knew, you might already have known, but I don't really bring it up much anymore, but we are broadcasting tonight in 4K. That's the highest quality that YouTube will allow, I believe. I think 2160p is the actual number for it. So if you want to go ahead and check your quality settings and adjust that to 4K and see how much cleaner and crisper and brighter it can be, give it a shot. If it gets choppy, though, check your internet connection. Might not be fast enough. I know I have trouble with mine on occasion. Or then just dumb it down a little bit. Try 1440p. That's usually where I got to leave it. It's weird. I can broadcast in 4K, but I can't view it without it stuttering. So who knows? So Wittenberger back out front. Wittenberg, no ER. And it's Alan Vaught, then the 14 of Justin Eaton, and Andrew Player, Albert Anderson, the top 5. Chris Klein tucked into the back of the top 5 here, just trying to work his way back to the lead lap. Klein up a couple of spots since the last round of stops where he's penalized for speeding. Now in 28th. Says not just 2160, but also 60 frames. That's a given. I always go 60, but says the 1080p 60 looks beautiful with how smooth it is. I tell you, if you've got a monitor or even a TV that can do 4K, try it in the 4K. It looks so much better than the 1080p, and that's really not much I can even do about that end of it. The 1080p encoders that YouTube uses are just not great. It's the only reason I do it this way. But certainly glad you're enjoying it. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Verde says, I have a feeling someone's going to LePage the field. Oh, boy. Well, with that, this second round of green flag stops in the books. We're going to step aside one more time here, get another side-by-side break out of the way. Got to pay some bills. But stay with us. We'll have the screen up. You won't miss a moment of the action, and we'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, Wittenberg continues to lead over the 33 of Alan Vaught, Dustin Eaton, Andrew Player, and Albert Anderson. Got to give a call here to Andrew Player in that number 13 machine, though. He's up 17 positions, started 21st on the day, well inside the top 5 and looking sharp in that Bocconi setup shop number 13. Top 5 all by their lonesome, plus Chris Klein bringing up the rear. Now there's a lot of anti-yellow flags out there, but Chris Klein is definitely not one of them. He'd love to see that caution come out. He could get back in the thick of this. Clearly has the speed, clearly knows how to get around these places and be competitive as he's still hanging tough there to the back of the top 5. It's just a lap down. Not a whole lot he can do about it at this point. You're not going to pass these guys or at least get by the leader and drive away. You're just going to get stuck there, and that's really much where he was before, right out in front of the race leaders, unable to get any distance separation between them. He's going to have to get that caution to get back on the lead lap. Big wiggle from Wittenberg off the push from Alan Vaught. Seen a lot of that here tonight. So far, so good. Only time we've seen a car go in the wrong direction, it was the 16 of Kyle Vaught off the nose of Scott Roney about lap 7. Kyle still running back in the 28th position, still not on the lead lap. Still single lap down, but he'd have to catch and pass Chris Klein to be in position. Bunch of different packs of cars now. Chandler Paul in 6th, leading the second group. Jason Gaines, Dustin Verdi, Mike Adamson. Got some lap cars mixed in here, of course. The 16 of Kyle Vaught right there. Fight in the 1. Dustin Wade in the 68. Starting to lose the draft off this pack. He's got to get caught up here. His only safety net is the pack that's behind him, but that just means that's much more track position you're going to lose. Adamson leading that group in the 88. At least he was. Pope was thinking about going to the outside. Takes a peek. Might just be trying to get some cool air into the nose, into the engine of that number 7. 6 of Trevor Robertson right in behind. Then we've got the 48 of Jack Dixon. Jeremiah Burke in the 53, not on the lead lap. So Osvaldo Servino Meja, I think is how that's pronounced. You must just be joining us, and that's okay. I'm just glad you're here. That's all that really matters to me, but I'll see if I can go back here. Pay close attention. We're going to go to that lap 7 replay with Scott Roney and Kyle Vaught, show you exactly what happened to put him so far back. So you see the 16 here. He was in the lead at the time. Alan Vaught going to the outside, but Roney gets to the left rear of the 16. Sends him for a ride. Kyle doesn't hit the wall, but he loses a ton of track position and most importantly lost the draft. And then ultimately went down a lap. So back out front, leader is starting to reel in some more lap cars. Wittenberg, Vaught, and Eaton the top 3. Vaught not bashful about pushing that 55 the whole way around. Craig Goodenough running in the 24 spot. He's going to go down a lap here. So Tim McAdam with the question, if the yellow comes out, I've covered this a bunch, but I'm happy to do it again. Yes, the first car 1 lap down, in this case it's Craig Goodenough as he just went down a lap. That may change going forward, but first car 1 lap down would get the lucky dog, the wave around on the caution. It's Alan Vaught roots the 55 of Wittenberg out of the way here. Allen wants the race lead, and Eaton pushing the 33 with all he's got. Gets him a little crossed up, but everybody continues on. But now we watch this battle with Chris Klein, the 51, and the 89 of Goodenough. This is the battle for that lucky dog. Yeah, Ryan I says 1 lap car, I believe. So 1 car, yeah, first one, a lap down, moves up. Yes, first car, 1 lap down, we get waved by, and that happens on the 1 to go after a caution. In this case, if Chris Klein was the lead car in this draft, just as a for instance, he would technically be the last car on the lead lap, but would have to wave around at the same time as the lucky dog. That's how most series are run as far as that end of it's concerned. So as it stands right now, Craig Goodenough in the lucky dog position. Chris Klein a few cars back. He'd have to get up there and challenge. Alan Vaught, your race leader currently. Dustin Eaton, Ricky Wittenberg, Andrew Player, Albert Anderson, the top 5. Chandler Paul in 6, but they're further back in a different group. A couple of lap cars mixed into this group as well. The 89 of Craig Goodenough, Chris Klein. You also got the number 92 machine of Greg Klein. And then the 434, Kevin Hunt. I don't know if Greg and Chris are related. Obviously, they're both Kleins. Someone in the research department can help me out with that. Greg and Chris, are they related? So while these guys battle it out here at the front of the field, we'll go back to that next pack of cars again. Chandler Paul leading it. It's a 5-car draft, but same situation. We've got some lead lap cars mixed in with some not lead lap cars. It's too bad they can't communicate together and kind of come up with a game plan to draft back up. Third pack, Tim Pope leads it with the 6 of Robertson in behind. Here's the 48 of Jack Dixon as well. Jeremiah Burke also not on the lead lap. Neither is the 82. So we've got the same scenario pretty much in every pack of cars on the field right now. Some lead lap cars mixed in with some lap down cars. It's tough as far as timing and scoring is concerned, but it's no bother to the racers as they're able to draft off that car regardless of what lap they're on. Remember Kelly Cool in the 01, running back in 15th now. Prior to that first round of stops, remember the 01 and the 33, Alan Vaught battling heavily for the top spot. Not sure what happened with the 01, maybe an issue on pit road. Scott Roney, the pole sitter, running back in 18th, in behind Dylan Bryant. Now Bryant, however, no, Dylan is on the lead lap there. Dylan running in 17th. And another pack of cars. Everybody's spread out pretty well here. You've got, a big group up front, then 6 or 7, and then another 5 or 6, and then another 6. This group led by Greg Dobson, running in the 19th spot. 29 of Dave Mayberry in behind him. Then it's the 11 of Joe Canellis. Deion Jones in the 4. And I want to give a call to Deion here. This is, in my opinion, and maybe it's just because I grew up an Earnhardt fan, but it's one of the best looking cars out there. I know it's not necessarily a homemade scheme kind of deal, but I don't know. That AC Delco, those colors just look great out there. And who could complain about Russ Kilgore in the 2? It's a good-looking hot rod. 24 laps to go. We're going to take our final side-by-side break of the afternoon. I know we had a lot here tonight, but we tried to get them out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, green flag pit stops, likely the final stops of the day underway. These drivers the first ones to come down, and with 21 laps to go, they should be good to go to the finish, barring a green-white checkered. Coming to 20 to go, Alan Vaught the leader, Eaton second, Wittenberg third. Top two getting out of way here. Let's see if they come down to pit this time. And here they come. A lot cleaner this time. Alan Vaught down and away. No tires for the 33. He's going to head back out. Good to go to the end. We may have mentioned that a few times, though. Tires not as important in a place like Talladega Super Speedway. Yes, they are important to a certain extent, but they don't really gain anything as far as your lap times are concerned. That's all done with the skill of being in the draft. But those new tires, they help in the sense that it allows you to be more aggressive with your moves, whether it's throwing a block or reacting to a block. You got a little bit more lateral grip when you're making those moves on fresher tires. That's something that these drivers are aware of. But is it worth the track position to take them? That is the question. So through the pit stops, Albert Anderson has taken over the top spot. Dustin Eaton, Alan Vaught, the top three. Chris Klein mixed in. Klein still a lap down. Has become the first car one lap down yet again, but still not a single caution here this afternoon. And I will say that with all these green flag stops, it spreads the field out. You know, we saw it prior to this round. We had four distinct packs of cars. You split those four cars up across 35 race cars that started this race. There's not a whole lot of congestion. So with that said, it certainly reduces the likelihood, doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces the likelihood we're going to get a caution. So we could, again, Lori, knocking on wood here, we could run this green to checker without incident. See, the interesting thing here is if I'm Chris Klein and I'm just out here having a good time, it's tough because he wants that lap back. He's certainly in a position that if the caution comes out, he'd get it. But I would communicate with Alan Vaught here. I would say, hey, Alan, why don't we back up to this pack behind, leave these top two drivers by their lonesome to draft with each other. They'd pretty much be forced to run 1-2 for a while. Meanwhile, these guys that are third and fourth in line could back up to that next group of cars behind them, have a bigger draft to work with, and set themselves up to have more dancing partners at the finish. I know it's kind of evil, but it would work. Anderson continues to lead. Not much of a challenge out of Eaton just yet. But that's the decision you've got to make there if you're driving that number 14 machine is, all right, Chris Klein doesn't really have a dog in the fight right here, and he's a lap down. Is he going to go with me if I step out to pass? Osborne down low on the apron. So here's the other scenario, and we're starting to see this too, is there's some slower traffic that the leaders are going to reel in here and catch likely before this one's over. So that's going to create a drafting situation as well. But again, it's kind of oddball because you got to try and, I don't know, play a little bit of chess out here to figure out what the next move is going to be for these lappers that are going to be mixed in with the lead pack. They're not really motivated for position, at least against the drivers that are up 1, 2, 3 right now. They are motivated, however, to pass the guys that they're racing around. So who do they go with? Who do they think that they're going to go with? That's just a big, giant question mark for the race leaders as they start to reel these guys in. Derek Welch in the chat says, "What up, Steve? Didn't make it tonight. Noticed." Which is unfortunate because it's Talladega, man. You usually run pretty well here. Meanwhile, Anderson leads here with less than 15 to go. Then it's 14 of Dustin Eaton, Alan Vaught, Andrew Player, Ricky Wittenberg, the top 5. However, the 3 cars on the lead lap mixed in here. Of course, Anderson, Eaton, and Vaught. Chris Klein mixed in there, third in line, but not on the lead lap. I know we've said it a million times, but we're always having people jump in and jump out and jump late, so I get a little repetitive, but it's all for good reasons. Further back, Ricky Wittenberg. Remember, Ricky was leading this race a while back. It's in great position, but Andrew Player now leads this group. These guys are about 6 seconds off the lead pack. Same situation we've talked about a million times tonight. Let's get lined up, guys. Draft your way to the front. Don't push the pusher. Stay in line. Or don't. So 13 to go. Leaders in lap traffic now. 3 cars here, and they'll become part of this group, I believe. And you see the difference there. Only a 3-car draft versus a 4-car draft. The 4 cars, they got more numbers. They were able to reel those 3 in without any issue. You also see the difference in space from bumper to bumper from the 4-car draft to the 3-car draft. The 3-car draft, they were not as close to each other as the 4-car draft. So that's going to make them a little bit slower as well. Getting some reports that some drivers have crashed recently, not immediate recently, but let's go see if we can get a look at this here. Chandler Paul with an incident. This might have been a pit stop. No, that was on track. That didn't bring out a yellow. And Mike Everidge. This was leaving the pits, or this was after the incident. Yeah, Mike having a problem. Right front towed way in, hammers the wall. And then Chandler Paul still trying to get back up the racetrack at that point. We are darn lucky we didn't get a yellow out of that, especially those pack of cars that went flying by. Ten laps to go from Talladega. Anderson still leads. Not really anything changing here at the front of the field, but you don't win it with 10 to go. You win it on that final lap, and I'm talking about the final feet. And as I expected here, those lap cars did become part of this lead group. So that second pack of cars not likely to reel in this front pack of cars. Five of Anthony Williams up top. Looks like Eaton's getting a little racier there in behind the 99. Using all of that bumper. So as we run, 15 cars still on the lead lap. Dustin Wade, the last car on the lead lap in the number 68. Work our way forward. Scott Roney with a lap car separating them. He runs 14th. Moving forward, Dylan Bryant in the 13th position. Lap car separating him with the 10. Andrew Cawthon, Kelly Cool in the 01, running in the 11th spot. John Gallagher, the lead car in this pack, is 10th. Next pack of cars. Jack Dixon, 9th in the 48. Mike Adamson, the 88 machine. Tim Pope in 7th. And the 6th machine to Trevor Robertson in 6th. Ricky Wittenberg further up the field here. Still about 5.5 seconds behind that lead pack. Andrew Player in 13th. And then we're caught back up to the lead group here. Alan Vaught now running 3rd, in behind Chris Klein still. Klein a lap down. Dustin Eaton 2nd, and your race leader, Albert Anderson. Orion I makes a great point again. It says so much paint getting scratched, so many bumps, so much trust in each other, and it's gotten them within 10 laps of the finish. Now it's within 6 laps of the finish. I still don't think we get out of this without a yellow. Again, I'm sorry, Lori. It's possible. But even the best in the world somehow managed to not get there without a yellow coming out. 5 to go as they cross the stripe here. Anderson with the lead still. Anderson qualified 6th. Kind of as we thought, outside line starting to come together here with some lappers helping with the push. Deals have been made. Chips are down. Alan Vaught rockets to the front off the nose of Dave Mayberry. And just like that, the outside lane starting to come back together. So with 4 laps to go, Alan Vaught back to the race lead with some help from some lapped cars. Dave Mayberry being one of them. Mayberry's able to drop down and separate Vaught from Anderson. I'll tell you, Mayberry's looking pretty racy in behind the 33. I don't know if he forgot that he's a lap down. He's the first car one lap down, so either way, he'd get the lap back if he got the caution. Doesn't need to make the pass here, but now, as we talk about it, the inside lane roars back to the front. Anderson retakes the top spot as they're coming to 3 to go. Mayberry and Dobson still working with the 33 of Alan Vaught, trying to get him drafted back to the front. Dobson still a car length and a half off the back bumper of Mayberry. You don't want to push the pusher here, but staying close as you can without pushing. That's the ideal place to be, at least for the 085. Mayberry, though, does push Vaught back to the race lead. Again, seesaw battling back and forth. I don't know, just the guys in behind the 33, they just seem a little apprehensive pushing Alan Vaught. They've successfully pushed him out to the front a couple of times, but again on the bottom and almost across up there. The 99 almost got sent up the racetrack, somehow hangs onto it. 2 laps to go from Talladega, and Orion is right, it's getting dicey. Alan Vaught, pressure coming now from Anderson yet again. Anderson slips alongside, not enough to get clear. Side by side through the tri-oval. They'll see the white flag together here as they cross the stripe. 1 lap to go. Alan Vaught, Albert Anderson, side by side out of turn number 2. The final time down the back straightaway. Who is going to win it? Who's got the best drafters? Who's got the best pushers in behind them? Who can make this work? Oh, big time push from Mayberry. Crosses up Alan Vaught. He loses a ton of momentum into turn number 3, but he's still in the throttle. Now side by side with the 14 of Eaton. Will he be able to mount a charge and catch up and make that pass on Anderson? They're out of turn number 4. Anderson up the racetrack and a block to run from the 33 of Vaught. Vaught looks way high. Anderson's going to drop down. No, can't get there in time. Coming to this stripe, it's going to be a photo finish. At the line, Alan Vaught wins it over Eaton by 39 thousandths of a second. The 33 takes the win. Wow. It's worth the wait, folks. What a finish. Alan Vaught wins it. Well, they did it, Lori. Flag to flag, no yellow. Came close a couple times, but they did it. Hour and 20. Not bad. Alan Vaught takes it. Alan parks it here at start finish. And we're going to jump out, folks, here. We're going to step aside briefly, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when
center. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Back at Talladega Super Speedway, Alan Vaught in a thrilling finish, a victory for the 33. Made his move there with about 5 to go, went back and forth with Albert Anderson for a little bit, and ended up coming to the start-finish line. We talked about it. Just a few hundred feet is all it takes to win this thing, and that's what it took. Alan Vaught, Steve in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Steve. How are you?
We're doing good, Alan. Congratulations. A thrilling finish to close this one out. A clean race, green to checker, without a yellow flag. You started to make that move with about 5 laps to go, back and forth with Albert Anderson. What did it take there at the end? You had a lot of lap traffic mixed in there. What was the plan of attack, hoping somebody would go with you?
When you got Eaton and Albert's like a master at these tracks. You really got to dig deep, and I got to give all props to my teammate. He was a lap car there, but Mayberry's my teammate, and he's not always the most comfortable pusher. But I said, man, you just got to let loose. You got to let Jesus take the wheel, so to speak, and push. And so he got me up there, and man, I can't believe that. That's pretty great. Getting 2 in a row. I don't normally come out on the good end of these super speedways. I tend to be up front a lot, but then usually something happens, or I lost my pusher tonight, if you noticed, and we were really killing it, and I lost Kelly, and so I had to make some new friends.
Yeah, we were watching you and Kelly battle it out. Not exactly sure what happened to him. Maybe a pit road issue, but he was further back in the pack, finishing 11th. You guys were drafting together. I was going to bet money that somebody was going to end up in the wall there, but you guys got it figured out.
Yeah, it's he had an incident on pit road. I think he hit Burt to the 53, and that's what got him back there, and we lost touch.
Fair enough. Well, either way, a strong finish to the end. You beat him to the line by 39 thousandths of a second. A very close finish. Did you know you had it at the line, or did you have to check?
Oh, no, I had to check. I had no idea because I got outside of Albert there, and I thought, okay, he might still have the momentum. You know how many times I've crossed the line, and I thought I had it and didn't, so I definitely had to check.
Yeah, Chris Buescher knows a thing about that.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Well, congratulations, man. A strong run, a great win. Congratulations. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Hey, man, as always, my wife, man, I could hear her screaming from the other room, but she does so much for us. She's so excited for all of us. She cheers for the other drivers as much as she does me. I mean, she's just really great for our league, and I really appreciate the hell out of her. My son Kyle, come here, do some burnouts with me. That's awesome. I don't know where he finished tonight, but I hope he had a good time. And then obviously my teammates up there, Kelly, Mayberry for pushing me to that win, Greg Klein. So we had a good time in the chat tonight. Taylor Provac, hopefully you saw her in the text channel pulling for me, and not my son. That's his fiance, by the way. But it's awesome that she pulls for me more than him. 33.
Yep, she was calling for you. I saw it.
Yeah, awesome. And then Steve, man, you do a fantastic job. I'm really glad that we found you as a broadcaster. Thank you for highlighting our league and making it such a great watch. I think I watched all your races so far at least 2 or 3 times, and I never really used to do that, so I enjoy your broadcast immensely.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, man. It's a pleasure to be here. You guys put on some great racing, as evidenced by tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
You too, bud. Thanks. It's Alan Vaught, race winner here at Talladega. We're going to talk to the runner-up, Dustin Eaton, driver of the number 14 machine here. I don't know how you feel if you're Dustin Eaton. Yeah, second place is great, but a win would have been best, of course, but just wasn't meant to be, I guess. But we'll talk to him. Dustin, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Congratulations. Runner-up finish here at Talladega. You almost seemed content, though you probably weren't, running in that second spot, watching that last run of this race. But was there anything you could have done differently? I know things kind of all went chaotic there coming to the line.
No, I was just kind of biding my time to see if the opportunity went up. I don't know why, but, we had, some guys kind of let up on pushing behind me there, and I couldn't get past the bubble half the time to get to Albert. So those lap cars caught us and, played a factor, man. And right there at the end when, just dipped to the high side, I tried to make my move and just fell a little short. We'll get them next week. Hey, that's a fourth and now a second, so I'm doing all right.
Consistency, and a good points day. I know a lot of people hate that phrase, but it's the truth. Points win championships in the long run, and sometimes it comes down to just one or two, so it makes a difference.
Yep, it always does. This is a really tight contested league, especially running like green to green Talladega. Those pit stops really matter, and some people are better at others. I'm usually one of the ones on the worst end of that stick, but tonight, we had that 5 cars that just stuck together and kind of got the bigger picture, and we made it there to the end, man.
35 car field and green to checker without a yellow flag. Very impressive indeed. But we look forward now to the road course next week at Watkins Glen International. That's next up on the docket. How do you feel about your road course skills?
Well, sir, you're currently talking to the VRL road course king. Okay, road courses are the thing I strive on. I hate doing these restrictor plate races. I can't keep it in the straight line. I'm sure you've seen me bobbing back and forth, but you put me on a road course, like a fish in water. I've actually, I think the last 2 or 3 times taken Watkins, so looking forward to it.
So an opportunity at a solid finish, maybe even a win next week at the Glen. We look forward to that. Unfortunately, I'm traveling, so unless Lori wants me to tape delay this one, it's not going to be live, but we wish you the best, man. It's my favorite place to go to. I'm only an hour and a half from there, and I love calling races. I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to make that one.
Yeah, definitely. You can talk to anybody. I'm definitely looking forward to any sort of right turn action I can get. So I'm sorry you're going to miss it, but I'm going to try to put on a show for everybody.
Well, look forward to it either way. Dustin, who do you want to shout out to before I let you get out of here?
Oh, my wife, first and foremost. She's in there. She's always cheering for me, First one to come out and congratulate. And then Team Tang, of course. I got player Kevin Hunt, Craig Goodenough, and old Bittner didn't make it tonight, but and then Jess and Lori, always fun time. Great racing Jess out there, clean race, and Lori for doing what she does, handling all this crazy folk.
Well, fair enough. Dustin, congratulations again, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
All right, see you, man. Good luck, or have safe travel.
Thanks, man.
See you.
Dustin Eaton, your runner-up. Now Albert Anderson. He's going to be mad. He'll be all right. We'll pull the driver of the number 99 machine up in the broadcast booth. Albert Anderson started 6th, parks it in the top 3, but usually so dominant on these racetracks, these super speedways. Just didn't quite have enough here tonight, losing it there in the last, I'd say, maybe 500 yards, maybe even less. Albert, Steve in the booth, you got us?
Hey, Steve.
Well, Albert, 3rd place finish. How do you feel, man?
Disappointed. Very, very disappointed. I did everything I needed to do all night, great pit stops, made good decisions, lane choices and moving around and stuff like that. And that was a heartbreaker at the end there. You have to make those split-second decisions. I saw Jess on the outside with a teammate pushing him, and they had a bit of a run going. So I wanted to go up there and slow down his run, But at those restrictor plates, you get away with the first move. You may or may not get away with the second move. You definitely won't get away with the third. So, I didn't want to take a chance on wrecking the whole field, but, congrats to Jess and Dustin Eaton for finishing on the podium, and I'll take a 3rd place tonight.
Again, a good points day. We said that when we talked to Dustin Eaton. Eaton very excited about next week's race down in Watkins Glen. How do your road racing skills stack up against the field?
So I'm not excited about road course racing at all. As a matter of fact, I hate it, and I wish NASCAR would do away with it.
Oh, come on.
But no, not really.
Where else am I going to go in August if they do that?
They're right. I'm just not a fan of it. So, I really pushed all my chips in on tonight, getting a win tonight to secure a playoff position. But, it was still a good night. I can't complain. A third place in this league, you can't complain about that.
Well, it was a solid run. You looked good out there for sure. Had a chance late. Some smart moves there coming to the stripe. Not willing to wreck the 14 for that spot. Job well done, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. I got some people to thank out there in YouTube land.
Do it.
Just my family and friends that showed up tonight. My son was tuning in tonight, Austin, and thank him for coming out and supporting me. My mom and dad, my aunts, Edith and Kathy, multiple friends tuned in tonight to watch the race. Just everybody in the YouTube chat that was rooting for me and supporting the league and supporting the broadcast. Jess and Lori really does an excellent job at adminning the league and keeping us all in check and making sure everything runs smooth, and we can't do it without her. And my teammates, Jeremiah Burke and Jason Gaines, Jack Dixon, and Joe Canales. We got an awesome, really strong team, and I'm happy they're on board. All Stars going to do some things this season.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And side note, we do have Zach Millett in the stream chat. Says, we'll get you into the 12s at the Glen, Albert. So he's willing to give you some lessons. I would take him, man. He's really fast at the Glen.
Hey, you ain't got to tell me. Zach is fast everywhere, man. I love that guy. He's got an extraordinary amount of talent. And any advice you get from Zach Millett, it's kind of like Michael Jordan trying to teach you how to throw a basketball.
There you go.
You need to listen, So if Zach gives me some advice, I will receive it with open ears.
All right, Albert. Well, congrats again on third place, man. Wish you the best of luck next week. Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you, brother. We'll see you.
Albert Anderson, your third place finisher here at Talladega Super Speedway. That's going to wrap up the interviews for tonight's broadcast. But let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to Alan Vaught, Dustin Eaton, and Albert Anderson. Fourth place was Andrew Player. Ricky Wittenberg was fifth. Trevor Robertson finished in the sixth position. Seventh went to Tim Pope. Eighth place finisher was Mike Adamson. Jack Dixon was ninth. John Gallagher finished in the 10th spot. Kelly Kuhl was 11th. 12th went to Dylan Bryant. Andrew Cawthon, 13th. Scott Roney, after sitting on the pole, was 14th. 15th place was Dustin Wade. Dave Mayberry, 16th, though did help teammate Alan Vaught get to the finish line first. Still a solid night for Dave. Chris Klein was 17th. 18th went to Greg Dobson. Anthony Williams was 19th. Jason Gaines, 20th. Deion Jones, 21st. 22nd, Craig Goodenough. Greg Klein was 23rd. Jeremiah Burke, 24th. Kyle Vaught, 25th. I have no doubt that Kyle would have been in the top 5 at a minimum here if he didn't have that early race incident, but a tough night for the 16. Larry Dickerson was 26th. 27th, Kevin Hunt. Joe Canellis was 28th. 29th, Sean McDonald. Chandler Paul, 30th. Jonathan Osborne, 31st. 32nd was Russ Kilgore. 33rd, David Feit. 34th, John McAdam. And last but not least, the 82 of Mike Everidge finishes in the 5th spot, 23 laps down. That wraps it up for us here at HBR TV. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Of course, congratulations to Alan Vaught taking the win here at Talladega, making it 2 in a row. Again, traveling next week, guys. I'm not going to be able to cover the Glen. I'm bummed about it. It's my favorite place to go, favorite place to cover. But we'll be back soon enough. My work travel here coming to a pretty good conclusion here as the year ends. So hopefully no more of that. Don't need to worry too much about it going forward into the future, into the next season, which is coming up in February, of course. I like that these guys don't take a whole lot of breaks. So if you're looking for a broadcast to watch on iRacing or be a part of, jump in here on Wednesday nights. Chances are we're going to be live with VRL. These guys just don't quit. With that said, again, congratulations. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one, guys. Have a good night.